Okay, Dev. So you've been listening and watching.
Yeah.
So, what are your initial thoughts on the whole Destiny Melina thing? Their whole anti-red pill. Devon is old and fat, and she's a single. But what are your thoughts on all that?
I've watched a lot of Destiny's podcasts with Fresh and Fit, the stuff that you've broken down. I've kind of followed this. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Destiny for not commenting on my appearance on the video.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, like I don't need to be called old and fat by anybody else. So, but honestly, like I think with the whole situation, I think he's just young.
okay,
The guy's got okay, so he's got the ideas and ideals of what a relationship should be, and that it's more than just sex, and love is beyond all, and you guys are together and nothing can tear you apart. And all that's well and good. But I understand that Destiny has he's struggling to understand what is the attraction to this loser, this Tim guy that, keeps her coming back for more. Why am I losing her to this man?
right.
And I think that people who identify as poly or, pursue open relationships, I think that they're only poly until they meet someone worth keeping. It's like, I like
Ooh,
you a lot, I like you enough for now, but I want to keep the door open in case somebody better or new comes through. Now, with men, men want variety. That's not necessarily something new.
right.
Women will say they want variety, but what they're really looking for is what what else do I qualify for? Now,
Hmm.
this is a smart stance for her to take. She's young. She can pretty much, set well, before going online and basically becoming like an evil witch with this whole drama thing going on. But like, she's young, she's pretty, she has the ability to get men.
Sure.
But it's almost like that's not good enough for her. It's not good enough for her until she meets a man that she doesn't want to share and who doesn't want to share her. I don't think women can feel truly valued in a relationship if they are community property and they're treated
Oh.
as if their sexuality is something to be shared rather than to be, uh, you know, cherished.
Wow.
Um,
And I'll let you continue that thought. So it is your and this is just you can let me know if this is not what you're saying, but it sounds like you're saying one of the draws to because you heard Destiny in the piece talk about why in the he's clingy, he worships her, he's this and that and the third, and that's a little bit extreme. But one thing that Tim has made clear is that he wants Melina all to himself, and
yeah.
because he wants her all to himself, that means more to Melina because he's like, okay, I want you all to myself. I like or love you enough to the point where I'm not willing to share you with anybody else. Whereas Destiny
Okay.
loves her,
So
but he is willing to share her with other people.
exactly. Tim is being
Wow.
protective of her.
Wow. Wow.
Protective in a way that a man protects a woman that he cares about. When Destiny might take care of her, quote unquote, but he's
Mm-hmm.
not protecting her. He's
Mm.
not protecting her from herself, who she might meet, who has nefarious intentions. Not everybody is happy go lucky, good, oh, one love and all this shit. Everybody has an agenda or something to be gained from every type of relationship. So this homosexual guy or whatever is basically going from girls' places to girls' places, causing disruption.
And by the
He,
way, you
she,
said
she,
hobosexual, right?
yeah, right? Yeah, so, all of a sudden he's with this girl who she thinks this guy can't be locked down, like, and all of a sudden now he wants me. He wants to lock
Wow.
me down. This wasn't he never met a woman before worth committing to or worth wanting to keep to himself. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's just basic logic. Women want to feel desired. Yes, okay. So, yeah, you're so desirable. I'm gonna have another woman come and sleep in our bed tonight while you're off. It doesn't make sense. I mean, when him and Alba were talking about like long relationships and stuff like that, like I've never heard of a open relationship that began that way or started that way in the early days and survived 10 years. I could
Wow.
see if you're if your guys are together for 20 years and you go, oh. fuck, like, it's over for us. We're stuck together, but
Sure, sure.
let's go have some fun. Hey, maybe that's something you think about later on in life. But when you're young in life and you're looking, especially she's little, she's a little woman. She wants someone who can provide for her, maybe, but protect her, I think, is what she, especially when he said that she has abandonment issues and things like
Yes.
that. That is, telling a woman with abandonment issues or daddy issues or whatever the hell her issues are, that I love you, but I don't care what you, I care what you do. I just want to know about it.
Oh,
Well, you know what?
wow.
That's just creepy. So I think Destiny's really being cool. And he's trying to like just be like, oh yeah, everything's nonchalant, no big deal. If that's what you want, fine. But he's doing that as a way to protect his masculinity and
Woo!
his choices that he's defended. And this new wave masculinity that he's trying to project. You don't need to be possessive in order to, be strong. You don't have to keep tabs on a woman to keep a woman. No, you don't have to keep tabs on a woman to keep a woman, but keeping tabs on a woman lets her know that you give a shit. And
Wow.
that you giving a shit is what's going to protect her from other people or getting their attention. Gee, my husband doesn't care what I do. If I ever went out with someone after you, God forbid, and they had no boundaries like that, like, oh, looking at your phone and not saying what you're doing, or just taking off, oh, I'm gonna go out, I'll see you later, bye. I'd be like, this guy doesn't give a shit what I'm doing. It's not that
Wow.
he trusts me or doesn't trust me. Does he care enough to want to know? And if he does want to know, you know am I going to be held accountable to that? So we have a situation where a guy thinks he's giving a girl what she wants. If he thinks that it's working, it will work for a little while, but it won't work forever, because she's going to know that she's not good enough for you. Don't value her, basically, is what I'm trying to say. you know
Holy shit. You know,
I
Dev,
mean, no one,
it's
no, listen, no one feels fulfilled being shared.
oh my god. Oh my god. Dev, do you see Devin, do you see why I want you on the show? Every single look, Devin, I've been in debates, in arguments. I have never once ever it and I realize this and I know this within myself, but I've never been able to articulate it until you just put words to it. If a man has boundaries for you, it shows that he cares about you.
Yeah.
If a man says, "Well, look, I'm progressive and I'm this and I'm that," my woman, I don't care if my woman goes out to the club. If you don't have trust, you don't have anything. No, 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 no. Those are men who don't really care about you. You think about it like this, Dev. Um, if you had, like if a man had a car, he really like my Shelby Cobra, which I'm gonna have delivered late in the summertime. Do you think I'm gonna let anybody drive that car? No. You better believe I'm putting a GPS. I'm gonna put about 3 Apple tags in that. But and the reason and the reason why I'm going to do all these things is because I care about my car. I'm investing north of $125,000 into this vehicle, and so I'm going to take care of it. So if a man is going to invest his time, his energy, his emotion, his money, all of these things into a woman, you're goddamn right he's going to have boundaries, because if a man doesn't have boundaries on his woman, just like you said, it just means that he doesn't care about his woman as much as he says he does.
Right. And to prove your point, it doesn't have to be $100,000 car that you want to be protected of.
Sure.
I don't care if it's my old Honda in the driveway. I still point a camera at it to keep an eye on things, because I want to know if anyone's effing with my stuff. And you know, if, what belongs to you, you're proud of it.
Right.
You take possession. And Destiny is. He probably does love her so much. He
Probably
shows
does.
her off to the world.
Yes.
He takes her plea, he introduces her to he gives her a voice, because and that's his way of showing, I trust you. Okay, but now that they're in this breakup, he's covering for her, because
Yeah.
by covering for her, it doesn't make by not making her look bad, it makes him look better.
Mm, mm.
Because to disparage her would basically say, okay, I made mistakes, I missed the signs, I ignored this or that, but for her to disparage him, it makes her look squeaky clean, it makes her look wonderful.
Wow.
Like, okay, well, if he loved me so much, how come he didn't care that I've sucked 67 dicks in the last, 2 years? Like, does it mean nothing to him? And I guarantee you, she's not cooking and cleaning and taking
Of
care of
course
him
not.
and adding to his life
Of course not.
in more ways than just possibly bringing in girls that Destiny can have fun with later. Like, so I'm sure that there is a mutual, like, they were both were. Destiny wasn't totally getting screwed. He was doing this because he was getting something out of
Of
it,
course. Of course. Yeah.
but unfortunately, it's at a too steep of a price for he should have just be single and don't get you make fun of us getting married informally, but you don't really you have like in value. um I don't know,
Take your
sorry,
time.
this is why I don't like going on because I just kind of trail
Hey,
off
look, look,
sometimes.
look. No, no, no. That is, I think what you were probably trying to say is, yeah, he made fun of our private marriage, but I think what you have shown and illustrated is that I care about you a hell of a lot more than he says he cares about Melina. Because if and here's the thing, Dev. I think Destiny, just like you said, I think he really does love Melina. But he was so afraid to lose her. He was afraid to put boundaries on her for fear of her saying, well, whoa, you're putting boundaries on me. You can't tell me what I
Yes.
can or can't do. Well, guess what? The first dude who said, hey, you're not going to see somebody unless I'm there. Guess what, Devon? She might not have liked it, but she might not, it might have caught her by surprise, but she respected it. And when a girl respects something, eventually she comes to love it because in Melina's hindbrain, she doesn't even realize this is happening. This dude doesn't want me to go anywhere, not because he's controlling and toxic and possessive, because he truly loves me. Whereas this other guy, okay, he takes care of me financially, but I can do what I want with whoever I want, and he doesn't really seem to care.
Well, there's no downside for her.
No,
there's
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 no
been
downside.
no there's been really few boundaries and really no repercussions for anything that he solved her money problems or
Yep.
her tax problems. He's taken care of everything, and to just turn around, I don't know, to me, I don't know, it's just, if you, it just would be a huge recipe for resentment on both sides. Doesn't matter where they do it or whose apartment or who
Right.
owns what or
Of
who
course.
paid for what. Just the fact that this is going on is just a recipe for, okay, 5 years down the road, let's just say we close this relationship. Now I've got to deal with this person that I suddenly want to be possessive of or take possession of all to
Wow.
myself, and I have to equalize. I have to justify all of the things in the past that I allowed to happen, and
Wow.
I've got to live with that. I couldn't put it on her because I'm the leader of this relationship as a man. So I allowed this relationship to be open. So there, the man loses and loses and loses and loses, and the woman just finds a better option and continues to move on with life. And yeah, it's just it's sad because I've seen it. I mean, I thought two of my friends,
Hmm.
they got married in like 99, right? And I thought they were the ones that were gonna go the distance.
I know
you
exactly who
know
you're talking about, Dev. I know
little
exactly who you're talking about.
little freaky, but hey,
Yep. Know who you're talking about.
they, and wouldn't you know it, like 2 years ago they split, and
Yeah.
he found another chick who's a lot uglier. I don't know, but whatever. Whatever makes you happy, that's fine. But dude, like I thought they would be the ones who made it. Because I've never known a couple to last that long who've
Wow.
been up to those types of things, unless it was something they decided to try later in life for fun or something like that.
Sure.
But we're talking about, you have a solid foundation to build on. You can't build a relationship based on other people's bodily fluids.
Mm.
Like, it's just gross. It's not going to happen.
Oh God.
It's a like I said, it's a slippery slope, right?
Oh,
Sorry, I had to
Jesus
couldn't help
Christ.
myself.
Levi with the $2 super chat here says, keep asking Devon questions and let her cook, Donovan. Mike Steele says, if something has no cost, it's worthless. Let me ask you this
Yeah.
question here, because I'm smelling that food and I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. What is your response? Destiny really seemed to have a very adverse response to me saying that I was happy before you and I will be happy after you. What when I say that to you, what does that, I mean, and again, we've never had this conversation because it's really not important as far as I'm concerned, but what does that mean to you when I tell you, Devon, I was happy before you and I will be happy after you? How does that make you feel as a woman who is now married to me?
It makes me feel like you are a capable human being and that you don't need me. And if you don't need me, then I need to work to show my value to you. It's you people only value what they need when they don't have it,
That's right.
but like I want you I don't want you to need me. I want you to want me,
Right.
right?
Right.
And there's a big difference there. When you start considering, okay, like I'm in this relationship now, can I afford to leave this really, or you start analyzing your life
Yeah.
situation in
Yeah. Yeah.
order to have a different outcome,
Right.
boom, you're already out. Like it's over. It's over. So I don't know. That's something I really hope to accomplish, like with our new course that we're dropping next month,
Oh, yes.
is that hey, before, here's how to avoid getting to that point. And while like when Tim, set some boundaries and Melina pushed back, and who did she complain to? She complained to Destiny,
Wow.
right?
Yep, she
And
did.
Destiny is like, oh my god, I would never, that guy must be crazy and all this stuff. And he sees her positively responding to this, and it blows his mind. It's literally what you guys have been talking about. And yes, it sounds controlling, and yes, it might sound bad, but it works and it's effective and it's true. Like the proof is in the pudding. So if he's like, oh, well, I think the only reason why he like kind of like put his hand over his face when you said, I could live with you or live without you,
Hmm.
was because I think that he's a romantic. And in
Well,
a moment
of course he
where
is.
that you are giving each other, you want to say things that are maybe nice or lovely, or in a way where he's like, oh great, this guy's got to just bring the red pill, be the asshole in the middle of this, what would be a nice moment, right?
Right.
And to me, like, I know what you're saying when you say that.
Right.
I've been here since episode 1, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like this is basically in my fabric of my being. I know what you're gonna say half the time before you even say it.
That's
So,
right.
so I understand what you're saying when you say that. Just like when I started out and I said, hey, you know, every day we wake up with a decision to be together.
Yes.
And I know the rent is due every single day. You can't take yesterday or tomorrow for granted. You've got to continue to do the work in order to be a person that somebody else wants to love.
Mm. Wow, you are dropping some fucking knowledge. Last Jesus Christ. Last question here. You know that women like Melina, you're not. There's no fixing her. Okay. I would love to ask you.
Sure
Well, what?
there is.
Okay, enlighten me.
How old is she now?
25.
Yeah, give her 15, maybe 20 years. She'll wake up,
Yeah.
but in the meantime, she's going to leave scorched earth behind her
There you
and
go.
broken men.
Yep, that's right. And she will be broken because at that point she'll be 40 years old. She won't be nearly as attractive as she is now, which means she's going to have to comply. So just because she complies doesn't mean she gets it. Women comply as a matter of necessity, especially women like her. So we know, listen, and of course we talk about that tongue in cheek. What would you advise to what advice would you give Destiny? Because you heard him say, "Hey, if I have another relationship, it's going to be a poly relationship." What advice would you give Destiny and people and his fans who think that his way is the right way?
Okay, so this reminds me of something I said one time I was on the air with you.
Okay.
When we first met, I knew what I didn't want,
Right.
but I didn't know what I needed,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Um, Destiny needs to learn from this. And what you guys always say, if it's going to be open, it's got to be open only on his end. And
That's
he'd
right.
be like, oh my God, you're crazy. That's not fair. Guess what? The equation balances out with other elements of life in the relationship.
And what
So,
and
yes,
that other and that balance is all the fun she had before she got with him. Am I wrong?
there you go.
There you go.
That's a good way to put it.
There you go.
Hey, in this case, she paid up in advance. Now you've got to handle that.
There you go.
And if you can't handle that, you shouldn't have been participating in those types of activities to begin with, because there's always a winner and a loser.
That's right. That's
And
right.
the more she fights to be the winner in this
Mm.
situation, it's going to come back to hurt her. Honestly, she should just tell Destiny, look, I'm sorry this didn't work out. Bygones be bygones, and you hope you hope you have the best, and you don't owe me shit. Because she's already coming out on
Of
top.
course. Even if
What's
he
it?
doesn't give her an
$100,000 is insane.
Oh my
For
god.
what?
Oh my god.
Hey, you've got all that clout now. You start your own channel. You go make that money, girl. You know.
Yeah, well,
So but yeah. So if he's gonna I wouldn't classify it as poly. I would call it something else so that there is no confusion. But if that's either that, or maybe he can find a woman who actually satisfies him and he doesn't really feel that need as much. That's everybody's different. I'm not going to tell, there's
sure.
no right or wrong
Sure.
here, but if he's got to learn something from this. Now, if this isn't his red pill renaissance or whatever, and he's still going to say that you guys are completely wrong, and everything, the way that everything sounds is, it's semi Isuba language and all this stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, no, we're just trying to, like, you know actually remove the fog from the mirrors, and we get a clear picture, whether it's pretty or not.
Right. Right.
And I think at least having your eyes open and saying, okay, all right, I got it wrong the first time. We all got it wrong the first
Oh,
time. That's why
right.
we're in this community,
Right.
right? Like, that's how I found you.
Right.
I was like, oh boy, that shit didn't work. How do I avoid that situation again?
Right.
And boy, did I avoid that. I got a whole
Yes.
another mess of problems
Yeah,
there.
well, yeah, I was
But
gonna say, yeah, he traded one set of problems for another, but
yeah, but I don't know. I don't think he's good or bad. And
no, no.
I just, I don't know. I just, I wish he would kind of express crossing the bridge and saying, you know what, this is where you guys were right, but maybe I have want to try this.
There you
Like,
go. There
there's
you
a
go.
way to so he doesn't, like, have to. His pride can survive this.
Yes, of
As
course.
long as he explains what I've learned from this and how I'm going to avoid this, and maybe I can help out somebody else. It doesn't have to be quote unquote red pill. He's purple pill as they come. But, at least share what you've learned so that other people don't fall into the same holes. That's all.
Last question before I let you go here, or before I come down there and wreck that dinner. What do you think about? What are your thoughts on the red pill community as it's constructed now? Again, you've been there since episode 1. You've known who I was since my return of King's Day, for my return of King's my return of King's days. And
Hmm.
so you've seen the slow but steady to rapid evolution of the red pill community. What are your thoughts on the on the red pill community as it's constructed and as it operates now? I'm just curious.
There used to be, like, a place like Return of Kings or Red Pill Reddit, like a jumping off point that most guys had.
Right.
There's at least a concentrated source where you can bridge off from to different sub communities and things like that. I think being a little less centralized and a little more mainstream makes it more difficult for guys to find the red pill, not
Yeah.
easier,
Yeah.
because of the stigma that, like, people like Destiny continue to purport.
Right.
You know that they don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I
Right.
don't want to be. I don't want to be that guy.
Right. Right.
So, but I think, unfortunately, that makes a lot of people kind of miss the message.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, I think if there was more written content out there, like in the Return of Kings days, it would make people more informed,
Yeah.
and possibly bring in more people who read that article and went, "Holy shit, that happened to me."
Yeah. Right.
Versus watching. We can watch podcasts and streams and stuff like that, but reading an article is a lot less invasive than sitting down and watching a 2-hour podcast,
Right.
to find one story that the article summarized in about 3 minutes, so that's something, like, in next year, like, I want to work with you on, is getting all of your ROK articles
Of course. Of
republished,
course.
under DonovanSharp.com, and I want to keep doing blogs under howtorelationship.net too.
Yeah,
So,
you have a lot to
I think,
offer.
yep.
Listen, Dev, I appreciate you coming on and imparting your wisdom. Optimistic Realizer says your wife is very wise. Apollo says, I've had ladies tell me that they felt like I didn't care about them because I'm fine with them seeing other men as I see other women. Devon is spot on. Listen, man, you guys need to send me emails and messages letting me know you want more Devon. We want more Devon. People are tired of hearing my voice. We need more Devon. Babe, thank you very much. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
All right, I'll start slicing the roast for you.
Let's do it. All right, very good.
Bye.
That is the lovely and talented Devon.